what are some of the things that you think are those things that will help somebody at the starting point? We know that they're either leading into a show, that they're sort of thinking ahead of the game. Cool, we're going to do this show, we need to start thinking about marketing. Or, holy crap, we've just started rehearsals, we probably should have thought about marketing. What are some of those things that people can do that will be those quick wins, those things that can help move the needle fast? And when we say that, we're not saying you're going to sell out. You're not going to sell out the show, but it is going to help you get some ticket sales beyond just your family and friends. So what are some of those things?
I think with the advantage of things like social media, you are leaning into creating user-generated community, if you will, allowing others to be able to promote for you when they choose to, and helping them to do that. I can't tell you the number of times I go to a theatre company's social media profiles, their website, anything, and look for something that I can use on my socials to promote on my. Now I have an expectation on my socials as to what I want it to look like. So if what you're offering, if the only thing I can find is some scrappy little image on a Facebook page, and that's all you're giving me to be able to cross-promote your show, I'm not going to use it.
Cool.
If you're not making it easy for me to reshare, I'm not going to do it. Most people will not take the steps that I will take as a marketer to reshare something that they're sort of interested in.
Yeah. So what are the types of things that would help somebody finding that, wanting to share something? What is that stuff, and how should it be presented to make that easy?
Yeah, make sure that whenever you are promoting, going right back to basics, it's making sure that you're starting with the way you've got consistent visual, fonts, logo, all that sort of thing. But make sure on every social media platform you have on every form. Let's take Instagram, a reel, a feed post, your stories or whatever. Make sure that you have shareable graphics on there that have all the information that you need. Now, I'm not talking about a show poster because that's too much. Talking about an image, but in every in social media, making sure that in your captions you might have your little whatever you want to have, your quirky caption and your smart, really clever stuff, but a few dots down you have every single time the where, when, what, how, and why, because you're assuming that that post is there, but you're assuming that more than 5%, if you're lucky, of your followers are seeing everything you post.
I love that. So in every single post you put out, in the description of the post, add the details of the show.
Absolutely. Every single time.
And where to find a link to it, because in Instagram posts you might not be able to link out, but you can link in bio.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's so great. I've got a mate who, one of his biggest frustrations with almost everything he encounters is how hard it is to find where to go to get involved. There was a local business networking group that we're both a part of, and they put something up about a session that was being held. No link, no information about where it was, how to buy a ticket to it. And it's like, you want people to come, don't you? Yeah.
This is the bit about thinking like your audience.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you post all the time.
And taking out the assumption that they'll get it. I love that. I'll be honest, I haven't done that. So that's a tick for me to actually remember. And to set that up as a template.
Yes.
So that I can just go, doing a social media post, boom, 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 copy, paste, that goes straight in there.
I have a whole Google document that sits in my bookmarks.
Yes.
That has got all of these things in there. And I have everything from the way I set up the content in even a Facebook event, if you still do that. The content of that, the content of promoting auditions, I have the same format and I just changed. It's all just there.
Just set up those templates ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so great. All right, cool. So every social post,
everywhere,
post, setting have up all the details about
all
the show.
The details set up in your Instagram profile. Have in your highlights the what, where, when, and how. Never assume. I think it's just if you think through it, the eyes of your audience, every touch point, everywhere they go, that they see your company on your website, social media, emails. Everywhere that they are, never assume they have seen anything before.
I think that's key. That is so key. I was literally edging towards saying the same thing, is that we have to take out the assumption that people have seen something before. We have to assume that this is everybody's first time seeing it. And if it's not, it's okay, because we know it's at least 11 to 14 touch points before someone often takes action.
Yeah.
So you need to assume that it's going to be on the 11th or the 14th or the 23rd or the 67th touch point that they're going to decide to buy that ticket, and that information needs to be right there for them.
That's right. Nothing more annoying than having to go look for it, and most people will not.
Yeah, people want
That's the thing to remember.
convenience.
Yeah, they're not as emotionally attached as you are.
Yeah, great, cool. What else? What's next? What else can we move the needle with?
Make sure, so going back to, you can set up a press kit, a simple press kit. And what I mean by press kit is a Google Drive folder or a Dropbox folder, just a link, a bit.ly link that you can, which is just a URL, a shortener of URLs that allows you to track the number of clicks that have been on it. So it's a measuring tool. But a Google Drive or a Dropbox folder that in it has, without any text on it, some great high resolution, full color photos, promo photos of your show. There's nothing on them. Journalists, if they want them, don't want anything on them. And then you have a PDF document that can be just a basic press release, if you like. Better still is create a PDF document that is pages, that has the photos in use, it has notes about the producer, it has notes about the cast, including bios of cast members that have got interesting bios, or thinking like your audience, like a journalist, like other people, what would they find interesting to know? It could even have a page about interesting notes about the production, either yours, when it's been done before, awards it's won, those sorts of things. Definitely ticketing and venue information. Anything that if I wanted to go in and help you promote, and there are people, there's a growing number of people who do that around in the community. I could go to that drive, you could put that in your bios, you could do it anywhere you like, and I could click on that link, and in there would be everything that I would need quickly to be able to create something that suited my platform that I could cross promote for you. I could count on one hand the number of companies that do that.
Yeah.
They make it too hard.
That's great. And I would also suggest, just like any other company, pop a little note in there about how to use the logo and that kind of thing, because that way you're not getting people sharing your logo in a way that doesn't suit your brand either.
Yep.
So I would go that little extra step. Great. So simple press kit, non-branded photos. So just clean photos.
You can brand them. You can have.
I was going to say have both.
Yeah,
so have
both
non-branded photos.
Yeah, so if you want that more
photos.
control, no problem.
Yeah. Different aspect ratios. Go square, go portrait, go vertical.
Have both. You'll find that I find that landscape is used more than portrait.
Interesting.
Yep. But definitely have both, because journalists have no editorial control anymore on that.
Yep. Great.
High resolution, always in colour, because it can be, you could put black and white in there if you like, but again, what controls do you want to have over it? I've found over the last few years, loosening the controls has been beneficial in marketing.
Interesting.
You've got to be careful how you do it. But when I say loosening controls, it's this idea of user-generated content that's come in and taking advantage of that. How can I help someone else to promote my show? How can I do that? Making sure that it's, and not tight. We used to hang on really tightly into you shall do this. And that really doesn't work anymore. Like there's times for that, certainly, and business is a whole different thing. But for indie theatre, finding ways that you can loosen the controls and just let people go. And that includes your cast as well. Within your theatre company, what are you doing? What sort of content are you putting out that your cast want to share?
Yeah.
That
that's really important.
Your people want to share. They don't want to always be sharing buy tickets. They don't.
No, that's right.
So what else are you doing?
None of us want to feel like we're being the salesman to our friends.
That's right.
So I think, and that comes back to what you said earlier about finding that other type of content that we can share that reminds people that they're in a show. It might be a rehearsal moment. It might be a weird thing that I tried on in the costume fitting that we're just not going to go with. Absolutely, just that stuff that people can promote, push it out there.
Yeah.
It's such a great idea. Cool.